So yeah, I just done watching RWBY Volume 8 and ooh boy, there's a lot of problems. Now to be fair, before I start, this is gonna be having a lot of spoilers, so if you guys do not get spoiled, I highly recommend watching the whole entire series first and cut back here. But for the meantime, I am just gonna be based around my opinions. If you like it or not, then you might want to skip this one. But until then, I am Desmo24, and I welcome you to my review to RWBY. And oh boy, where to start? I guess I'll start at the beginning. Anyways, this taking place after the events of Season 7's finale, where it taking place about maybe, if I last remember, 2 or 3 days, where Salem pretty much invaded this flying city, where her Grimm are basically assaulting people at this moment. Meanwhile, RWBY's team are pretty much discussing what they should do, especially now they are pretty much disarray after the events happened with how them being most wanted. Due to this, the group pretty much split up into 2 groups, one of them being led by Yang and one of them led by RWBY. Interesting concept, that's for sure. However, during that time, I was pretty much going strict and at the point that he really needs more help. And such, he pretty much allied with Penny, even though Penny pretty much left the group, and give an ultimatum. And there's a few more that I haven't discussed because I'll get to them later. But for now, there is a lot of problems, but I feel like I had to point out a few things in this video. In this case, I feel like I'm gonna miss a few, but at that point, I'm just discussing where I can. Now, to start this, I pretty much gotta put in the beginning. You see, RWBY have a taint of parodying some princesses' stories like, say, Ruby Rose. It's basically a different concept of Red Riding Hood. You could put it like that. So, yeah, let's start with the biggest part of this series. In this volume, exactly Cinder. You see, Cinder's origin is basically around Cinderella. You know, that classic story where there's evil stepsister, etc. Well, this is her origin, but a bit twisted. You see, Cinder was born in an orphanage and being raised by a evil stepmother and evil two stepsisters. During the time, she's pretty much ruthless at this point. Well, to be fair, she is troubled, I give it that. But this is Cinder we're talking about, so yeah, she just pretty much rough and tough at best. And due to this, and seeing how much she is dangerous, her evil stepmother, and yes, I'll keep referring to that, pretty much treat her like garbage, and calling her stepsisters. And such, Cinder is pretty much a slave at this point. And especially the fact now she is pretty much dangerous. Yeah, we'll get to that point. But in the meantime, to make sure that she isn't checked, and if she gets punished, her evil stepmother pretty much put a necklace, which is also used as a collar every time Cinder that disobeys her, and pretty much hurt her at best. She also met a master named, I forgot his name, but it resulted in her being ruthless, and much more violent, killing off his step-family, killing off her stepsisters, and especially her evil godmother or evil mother at best. And also killed her own master. And so she feels sad, most driven to power, and of course it's the problem. The point of Cinder's character is that she is supposed to be mysterious. You know, like, say, for example, like Jafar, like, say, Maleficent. But the problem of this volume that Cinder have is mainly that she's treated like that she's a big around, and I get it. Cinder is popular, I get that. But the problem, she's not vested enough. The whole entire volume make her that we should like her for something, but really, we're not. This volume make her broken. She's nothing but a whiny, arrogant person of a shell. If I look back with some of the previous volumes, at least I could get behind. Especially how that for her debut, she is intimidating and pretty much trick anyone to her goal. Especially now with the fact that she is a much more deadly threat as shown defeating both Ospen and Pyrrha. Here, well, in Final 4 and 5, she's still intimidating. With now a black scar she have. And that's it. Yeah, I got nothing. At this point, Cinder just became a shell to herself. The fact that she wants to be intimidating, but then sooner or later she is no longer good. You know, I heard this kind of stuff before with the character named Devora, where she is also hated by fans as well. And the makers try to make her relatable. But here's the thing, Devora is hated by people, sure, but she's also a hate character, and sometimes hate characters do not have that. I know some people who like the character. Yeah, she did kill fan favorites, but that's what makes her her. She's a hated character that is on purpose. Cinder is not a hated character, and the point that she is became a tool. Oh, that's not the other biggest problem. During episode 1, we notice a new Grimm, a hound that's somehow being important in the role. And no, in fact, in Twitter, it's pretty much stated that someone that we knew. Oh, this is amazing, right? We are getting something that's current, something exciting, and something great, and of course it gotta be a fake. It's just some random fondness person. I'll give credit, it is a twist, I'll give you that. But what kind of disappoints me is that it could have been someone else. I don't know, maybe like Adam? You know, Adam, who is pretty much dead. And I know, sometimes dead people do not return, but it will make it interesting. Oh, and the same Hound Grimm, yeah, he died in episode 100 by a falling statue after being blasted by Rumi's silver eyes. Yeah, kind of disappointed to their writers. Congratulations on how you managed to make manga worse. And that's just problem number 2. Problem number 2 is Ren. Ren is pretty much just a jerk in this season. I'll give you there are some prompts, but I cannot look back to him when he does pretty much show how he pretty much retcon his few things. But the biggest one, and I mean the biggest one, it's Ironwood himself. Back in Volume 7, he is pretty much a mess. And it shows in Volume 8, and he pretty much came out a full-blasted villain. And I hate that. I get what is going on. He is struggling, he's stressed. But that doesn't share the excuse. His arc is supposed to be a hero symbol. I get that. But the problem, he is just becoming a villain himself. Which ironically, that's what Salem or Cinder is pretty much doing. It's really, really bad for his character and it shows. This is the problem when it comes to this volume. It's how the writers are treating the characters, the ones we knew, as trash. And like I said, there's some points I am forgetting or miss, but I still think this volume have a lot of problems when it comes with writing the characters, especially how they're treating them, and the same with other plot holes and such. But to me, I feel like Ironwood is the most treated of all. He's just becoming another typical and pretty much predictable villain that you can see in the 90s cartoon. It's just insulting how Ironwood became from a good guy and respectable to an unlikable villain. It's just that bad. And there's a lot of missed opportunities they could have done. Like say Penny got pretty much got hacked and pretty much got evil. And this could have opened some open ideas. And it shows. However, the problem is just how it's written. I don't know what happened, but it shows. Even though that Penny now have a virus and pretty much get hacked, she learned in the next episode that she's fine. She got meant to be cured by John. It's just how disappointing this volume is. As a fan, a longtime fan of RWBY, I am very disappointed this season. How much there are a lot of opportunities they could have gone towards, and they didn't do it. I think the best episode I could say is better is episode 9, The Witch, where Hazel pretty much sacrifices himself and does show a lot of character development to his origin. In fact, his arc with Ozpin. And it shows. However, there's no point in me saying that this have a lot of problems. But doesn't have problems, there are some pros. I like the scenery and designs, and especially the atmosphere we're going towards. I love every single moment that we get like a really, really good atmosphere or place or even design the characters. And heck, there are plenty of other ways I could say. I actually like the Whalegram. I really do think it have a lot of ideas, and it shows and it well executed. As such, I do respect what the creators have done, including the animators and sketch artists. And as well, even though I hate a few, and even though I didn't mention, there were actually emotion to it that to the characters. That's why I appreciate the most in RWBY, how much they do care and how they done it, especially with common emotions. And despite problems with comes with writing, especially to the characters, there are some decent ones at best. And the keyword some. There are some I didn't mention, like Admiral Turney against Cinder, etc. But I could just go for all. But in some other ways, I do think what they're going to try. Like say, give me redemption to some characters. Have some breaking down moments at best. At this point, I do respect what we're doing, but not really. At best, I do say that the opening for RWBY, it does have a lot of good ones. Especially the music is well done. I really like that. And since I'm still here, I'm not going to spoil anything about the finale, but for those who want to have to do RWBY and her friends, they're not dead. They're just mostly fall into another world. And I will say the action is pretty good and the effects are well executed. And I will expect that their grims are much more good. I do like the grims and the design, especially the well, and well, I feel like some of the art contests of the new awkward for Grim have it there, but I do appreciate it. Also, that silhouette of a RWBY Silver Eyes. I think this is the best one out there, and honestly, I actually like that scene in episode 100. And yes, it did break a milestone, so there's something I could say that it is something to mention on. And it shows. However, even then, even with all the great animation, effects, etc., the problems are just there. It's really, really disappointing how much this series have gone towards. I feel like it's just gonna go downhill at best. But is it the worst season? No, not really. At best, it's better than Volume 5, which is not saying much. But Volume 5, well, at best, the finale is just a mess with a forced happy ending. It does have some good character development at best, and have some good moments. Volume 6, while it has some little improvements, it does have a lot of good things about it. Even though there are some episodes that aren't good, but hey, it does pretty much at best better. And the keyword better. Final 7, I actually like this like Final 7. Sure, yes, there are some episodes that people don't like, but I enjoy it, especially with the ending, of course. But that leads to my conclusion. RWBY Volume 8 is not the worst season, but it's still bad. Say you will about Volume 5. At least there's something in it. But it's better than that. And honestly, this whole entire season is really disappointing. You want more depth to the episodes? Check out Nemesis Bunrain, if I pronounced his last name correctly. He did much more well much more well out analysis to the whole entire episode, so check out his content. But yeah, overall, while I don't think RWBY Volume 8 is the worst, but it's still bad, and honestly, there's a lot of wasted potentials they have literally done. But overall, we can't all get what we want, and hopefully Volume 9 would improve to these problems. Even though I didn't mention all of them, but hopefully I did explain why I do not like this season. But in some cases, this is still a bad season for RWBY, and hopefully next season it will be better. Hopefully. But if I were given an honest opinion, if it were any better for everyone else, well, at least it's better than Red vs. Blue 0, which dear God, that season of Red vs. Blue is that bad, or Spinner, or whatever it is supposed to be. But more than that, check out Raccoon Bro VA. At least that guy had much more explained to that series. Well, I'm Deso24 and I need a rest.